So let me guess, you've been spending some more time at home lately. And I hope that you've been spending your time well, maybe in your home studio, working on your craft. And maybe if you did that, after a few weeks, you realize something. You realize, hey, I'm not the one to usually say this about myself, but man, I'm good. I am playing these pads like Casanova is playing the lady's heartstrings. I am getting good at this. And if that's the case, you're probably ready for the exercise that I'm about to give you. It's a brain-meltingly difficult coordination exercise, but once you've mastered it, you have even more reason to be super proud of yourself. So let's go. The quest for groove. The basic pattern that you should be able to play before you even attempt to do something difficult like this exercise is a basic 16th note pattern between your two hands, like this. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1. And if you don't know how to do this, or you're wondering how I set up my pad controller, assign sounds to pads and stuff like that, then you're a beginner and you should check out my beginner lessons or my beginner course, free beginner course on questforgroove.com, and come back here later once you got the hang of it and you want to challenge yourself. So for all of you who want to challenge themselves because they know how to do this, they know how to play a 16th note basic beat, I'm going to make this thing very, very difficult by just changing one small thing on the open hi-hat. Now let me slow that down for you pretty extremely. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... And now, just for reference, let me speed this up for you to sort of give it some actual drum power. If we look at what's happening here, we're going to notice that not that much changes, actually. Because there's still this basic kick snare pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4. It keeps on going like that. And there's this basic 16th note thing between our two hands. But what makes this thing difficult is that there's this cross rhythm on the open hi-hat. And that's actually asymmetrical throughout the bar, and that makes it that no two hits are exactly the same as far as the hi-hat is concerned, and that is pretty difficult for our brain to process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write all this down for you so you can actually see what's going on, you can read what's going on, because the first step you have to take if you want to learn this is no metronome, not even a tempo. Just go super, super slow, be super, super humble, accept that it's going to take a few days, and just learn how you should move your hands. That's basically step one. You can literally go as slow as even slower. If that's what you want, you can even, look at the diagram and then go back and forth, and at some point close your eyes, see if you can. That's the type of stuff that you have to do. You have to really give yourself the time to master this. So after a few days of just familiarizing yourself with the motions, and I'm talking about 10 minutes, right? Just familiarize yourself with the motions, no tempo, then do something else, go play something else, go to sleep, do the same thing the next day. Take a few days like that, and then after a few days, you probably got this thing ingrained somewhere in the back of your head, and you have the space, the mind space, to try and play this thing in time with a metronome. And again, start slow. I would say 50 BPM or something is the maximum speed, and just see if you can make this thing work. Okay? Right? And that's probably what you should do for 10 minutes. Don't do this all day, right? That's not what it's about. It's about small bursts and then sleep in between. That's the fastest way to success. So the next day, just increase it by 5 BPM or something. It doesn't have to be that much. I'm going to skip the 65, so that should be after 2 or 3 days. That's where the tempo where you should be. 65, and again, see if you can make this thing work. All right, and a little wavering, that's normal, obviously, because like this thing is super hard to play. I also waver whenever I'm doing something like this. But something to pay very close attention to as you're going through all those tempos is actually the soft hits. The soft hits on the hi-hat, they are usually neglected if you don't pay attention to them, especially those last 3 hits of the bar. So we did this. And then we have 3 hits before we start over again. And what I notice, if I'm not actually trying to get those last 3 hits in a solid, groovy way, I mess them up, because I feel like once you did all the open hi-hat hits, once you did all of those, you feel like, oh, I'm done. Okay, let's go. Let's start over. But the truth is, after that last hi-hat hit, open hi-hat hit, there's still 3 soft hits on the closed hi-hat, and if you don't play them in time, don't play those hits in a groovy way, just as groovy as all the other stuff, that's gonna sound sloppy and crappy, and that's actually what's gonna distinguish you from the pros, right? So pay attention to both the open hi-hat hits and those closed, soft, insignificant hits. You'll want to play them in time as well. Let me just set this thing to 80. So that would be 3 days later, right? In most of your cases, 3 days later, 80 BPM. I would say that's sort of the limit. You can go faster, but you don't really have to. And pay attention to everything. Here's another video you might like. Stay healthy, stay safe. Spend your time at home wisely if you have to stay at home. And I hope to see you soon in the next one. Bye-bye.